Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good after wherever you are. Welcome to week 10 of the Angry Onion. Hey yo, news and views that just stinks on most occasions. Welcome to this week's show. We're glad you're here. So without further ado, let's continue to move right along with the Angry Onion. And this week on the Angry Onion, we hope to have something for you that just stinks so good. Mmm, smell the funk. Because we're going to stink it up in here today for you. So, our goal is to give a short, different side of some of the unique stories from the world of news, weather, sports, or something just crazy. Most of it will stink, but I guess what? I'm an onion and I stink. If you think it stinks, you can definitely talk about it in the comments section by yourself or with others. However, remember, I'm an onion and I stink. So whatever I do is bound to stink. And as an onion, I don't have logic. If you get upset, then all I can say is that you're getting upset with an onion, and an onion doesn't have a brain or feelings. We will have an onion breath stinker of the week. You can also nominate someone to be the breath stinker of the week, and we'll tell you how you can do that a little bit later. Each week we will have a unique question or topic for you to ponder and discuss, and more than likely, it will stink. So let's get right to the news. All right, here's our news story for the week. Uh, Coming out of Florida, man claims memory blank after pounding on door at 1 a.m. and running from the police. Call this unwelcome visitor. Outside a home in the 300 block of Pinewood Street at 1 a.m., an unknown man began knocking on the front door of the residence. Being that it is South Florida and home to plenty of strange people, like those that might eat your face while high on bath salt, the resident alarm level began ratcheting up, telling the man through the glass to leave and that the police had been called. The man repeatedly began saying, "Let me in," while pacing around in front of the house. Realizing his attempts to gain entry were not likely to end in success, the man took off running. Stopped by the police a short distance away, he was detained and placed in handcuffs. After finding a small amount of marijuana and one annex pill on his person, police asked him what was the man doing knocking on the door at 1 a.m. He stated that he had been at the 24-hour store near the Cuban place and then added that he may have been experiencing some paranoia when he approached the home. He then said he had been drinking earlier and at that point claimed his memory of what he was even doing in the area was blank. He next added he had been in some sort of accident but did not know where it occurred or what it even involved. He was arrested for loitering and prowling for drug possession. Uh, a further search of his person revealed a small amount of heroin hidden inside a pack of gum. You see, no, you see, the other day I was trying to see there was this car that came and it. No, no, no. See, it was the other dude. It was the guy from around the corner. that's that's basically what's happening here. Hey, at the end of the day, the guy's high. he, he is high. He's spaced out. No, he probably don't remember anything, and every first thing coming to his mind, he's saying, and part of that is to keep from getting in trouble. But I'm pretty sure the police were sitting there like, yeah, 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 right, 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 right. But I can only imagine the house that he was knocking on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning, or shall I say, beating on the door, telling them to let him in, or pacing around. Now he's lucky. He is very lucky because that's one of those stories you sometimes don't find out. You find out don't turn out too well, where the person was shot and killed And you almost say a resident has every right in that case. They feel in their life's in danger. A person's trying to break in their house, not knowing what they're going to do. But hopefully, this gentleman will get him a good night's sleep. Maybe detoxed and have a more fruitful life ahead of him. Because his memory is so lost. What do you think of that stinky story coming to us from Florida? Okay, let's get into the sports. A little stinky story here for some, and a warming story for others. If you're in Arizona, Arizona football ends nation's longest losing streak with homecoming win over Cal. In many ways, it was one of the ugliest games in recent memory. To the Arizona Wildcats, it was a thing of beauty. Arizona ended its 20-game losing streak on a warm, strange Saturday afternoon at Arizona Stadium. The final score was 10-3. There were more missing and or injured players than there were points scored. Cal came to Tucson without 24 players because of COVID protocol. The Golden Bears dressed 63 players, according to Pac-12 networks. Among the missing, starting quarterback Chase Garbers, who led the league in total yards per game. Arizona, meanwhile, briefly lost starting quarterback Will Plummer and its third stringer a few weeks ago and was down 3 offensive linemen for much of the game. Michael Wiley scored the winning touchdown with 2 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. The defense held. The Wildcats ended the game in a victory formation. Students and fans flooded the field to join the team in celebration. Arizona 1-8 overall, 1-5 in the Pac-12, won for the first time since October 5th, 2019. The losing streak had been the nation's longest. Cal dropped its 6th in a row in the series. Arizona had last won a football game, as mentioned, October 5th, 2019, when the Wildcats beat Colorado, the Buffaloes in Boulder, Colorado. So this is an interesting story for the simple fact that there's nothing like getting a victory on homecoming. Now, when you get a victory and you hadn't won in 20 games, that makes it even sweeter. So, the fans rushing the field, man, I bet that was a beautiful scene. Beautiful scene. But you have to think about this. Cal came to the game without 24 players. That is crazy. Without 24 players. So they probably had some walk-ons and others out there to just help them man and fill out the roster. But we're not going to take away the great victory for the Arizona Wildcats. It sounds crazy for the Arizona football team to even be down uh, and hadn't won 20 games. That's just, I got big respect for the Pac-12. Wouldn't think their team would be operating that way. So for some, it was a stinking game. For others, it was a thing of beauty. Let me know your thoughts. Arizona football ends nation's losing streak. Well, let's all say nation's longest losing streak with a homecoming win over Cal. All righty, let's get ready for some AO weather. Today's weather forecast comes from Laurel, Maryland. Laurel is a city in Maryland here in the United States, located between Washington and Baltimore. As of the census of 2010, there was 25,115 people in the city, a little less than 10,500 households, 5,695 families residing in the city. One of its biggest attractions is there are many dinosaur fossils from the Cretaceous era are preserved in a 7.5-acre park in Laurel. The site, which among other finds has yielded fossilized teeth from the Astrodon and the Precondodon species, has been called the most prolific in the eastern United States. From the late glacial age in 10,000 70 BC to 8,500 BC. Unfortunately, Laurel's climate warmed and changed from a spruce forest to a hardwood forest. In the late Archaic period from 4000 to 1000 BC, Laurel would have been covered primarily with oak and hickory forests. The weather this week will see temperatures in the mid 60s and lows in the upper 30s. So thank you to the great city of Laurel, Maryland, for this week's weather forecast on the Angry Onion. All right, let's get ready for this week's Onion Breath Stinker of the Week. It goes to Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver. Now, this is a different take. This is not all of the racial things that you may have heard, although one may look at this racial, but that's not why he's our Onion Breath Stinker of the Week. In one of the stories that was written, it talked about a time when LaMarcus Aldridge, uh, they were looking at keeping him there in Phoenix, but he wanted to move to Texas to be with his kids. And so Mr. Sarver, who is a distinct businessman, don't take that away from him. He's done some great things business-wise, made the suggestion that they needed to go round up some prostitutes to sleep with the players, and for the prostitutes to get pregnant, well, the players would have to stay in the area. Now that's just crazy. I mean, even if you're joking about it, I don't. That one's, come on. That's when you feel you got too much power and you truly are, as they say, a owner. In this case, of people. You don't do that. Come on, Mr. Sarver. You're a shrewd businessman. I would think you're smarter than that. That one just, like I said, the other stuff, I'm pretty sure the investigations will bear out what's right, wrong, and that. That's not the reason you're an onion breath stinker. But to want to round up prostitutes so your players could sleep with them and get pregnant so they have to stay in the area, that one stinks. So for that, Mr. Robert Sarver, Phoenix Suns owner, you are the Angry Onions Onion Breath Stinker of the Week. All right. So if you believe you have an onion breath stinker and you'd like to nominate someone, please do that. Just shoot us an email at rodtv65@gmail.com. Let us know why you're nominating that person, and we'll try to get them there. You don't have to send us a picture. You just let us know that they stink. And guess what? Others may say they stink. Others may say, well, this whole process stinks. But guess what? I'm an onion, and I'm supposed to stink. All right? Okay. Let's move on. All right. Let's get ready for this week's stinker question of the week. Which is your favorite? Ice cream or yogurt? I grew up as an ice cream person for the early years of my life. And then one of my older brothers, out of college, uh, became a store manager of a TCBY, this country's best yogurt. Up until that point, I hadn't even heard of yogurt. But, being in Little Rock, Arkansas at the time, uh, TCBY had its corporate office there. That was huge. Uh, and yogurt just took off, just unbelievable. But ice cream has been around, and it's not going anywhere. And there's nothing like homemade old-fashioned ice cream, especially when you were growing up. It was just something about the texture and the taste of it, and just how it was made. Uh, but you can't get around that smooth, creamy taste of good old frozen yogurt. So, our stinker question of the week: which is your favorite, ice cream or yogurt? Let us know in the comments section. Discuss with others. Let us know in an email. But let us know your opinion. Talk about your opinions. Ice cream or yogurt? This week's stinker question of the week. Well, once again, thank you for listening to and tuning in to the show, The Angry Onion. It stinks and it will continue to stink. But remember, I'm an onion. Ayo, I'm the angry onion, and everything that I do stinks. Thank you to The Angry Onion, which is a production of Rod TV 65, where reality meets the public. Rod TV 65 is a production of BBB2M Media.